You can't take this exam because you do not have the mandatory required 80% attendance. तूने मेरा proxy लगाया आज? क्या रह गया? Hello. Have you experienced the attendance gamble, the jugaad that all of us Indians have gone through in our college days? Hi, and welcome to Musings of a Master. I'm Meenal Desai, and here I share a medley of my unique experiences, shaped by students, teachers, and life in general. Attendance and our obsession with it are world famous, and today this is what we are going to talk about. A while ago, I was at an alumni function of a very reputed university, and it was a standard affair. Different speakers came in and spoke about how their university has progressed over the years, and they spoke about how their pedagogy was shifting to being outcomes based learning and all that. Each one had their own story to share. I was really happy to learn this because the university was known for its stringent rules on attendance and all that. So I spoke to one of the students who was there in the audience, and I asked him, I said, so now has it done away or abolished or at least reduced the 80% mandatory attendance that it had earlier? The child shook his head, the student shook his head vigorously and said, no, it is now 90%. And I was shocked. I was like, what? So he said, yeah, it is 90% mandatory attendance now to qualify for an exam. And I was appalled, angry, and all of it at the same time. 90% compulsory attendance for an adult whom the government of India recognizes that he can choose who will run the government. But that adult does not have the right to choose whether he wants to attend this lecture or not. Unfortunately, most parents like this. They believe that universities like this create better marks and better learning and better jobs. Most professors like this because they believe that more students in the classroom means more learning. However, and sadly, the truth is far from it. When children grow up like this, when adults are treated like this, it creates a huge crisis. You should listen to Julie Lythcott's amazing TED Talk to know how this pans out in the real world. I did my bachelor's in India, and while I taught the college, in most cases I was more concerned with my attendance and with the proxy settings than anything else. And I did my master's abroad. When I went there, attendance was the last thing anybody really cared for. They were least concerned with whether you were there in the class or not. But I made it a point that I attended all the lectures. Why? Because if I didn't, I would never be able to pass the course. If I wanted to get through my coursework, I had to attend the lectures. It made sense to be there. Secondly, the lectures were interesting enough. It was worth the time being spent there. So, don't you think we schools as well as institutions of higher ed, we need to focus more on creating content, on creating lessons that are more interesting rather than focusing on attendance? With the democratization of information and knowledge, it is time that we leave the option to the student of how they want to learn, and focus more on testing their knowledge, on creating tests that actually measure their learning rather than their cramming. So, what do you have to say about attendance being compulsory? And have you participated in the big scam of proxies? If so, please share your views with us, and don't forget to subscribe to Musings of a Master and follow us on Instagram and YouTube. Thank you so much.